What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're going to be looking at the Kizuna Clash, which is going to be coming very shortly here in One Piece Treasure Cruise Global. We do know that we've got the treasure map going on right now, featuring obviously Blue No Beppo, Sunny Kun, but we do have the data download and the data mine information in regards to what we should be expecting for the upcoming Kizuna Clash. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the 10-star difficulty, the easy version of Kizuna Clash. I'll be making a separate video giving you guys information in regards to the 15-star Super Boss Kizuna, so make sure to stay tuned to the YouTube channel for that one. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start talking about each of these individual boss fights. So the first of the 10-star difficulty Kizuna clashes is going to be against Kizuna Kid, obviously, but this one is a strength fight, and the interesting thing here is that even though normally with a super boss Kizuna, the color of those super bosses correlates to the colors of the other bosses that we've been taking on, I believe every single boss in this Kizuna is actually a different color, so it's kind of interesting to have a look at. But Kizuna Clash Kid, strength variation, Quick Psi Int are the characters that get cooldown, including their special, switch effect, and versus effect. Battle 2, there's going to be 5 turns of Rainbow Shield and a full board of block slots, and then when you reach the final stage, there's a full immunity, so you can't apply any conditions to the opponent unless if they go through immunity buffs. There's also 50,000 damage that's inflicted to the crew. Damage threshold is also inflicted on the enemy side of the field. Recovery bind, so you can't recover any HP back. Also, nullify damage. The enemy has 1 turn of damage nullification, and when you defeat the boss, he does 100,000 damage to the crew, and then after level 31, there are additional gimmicks of 1 additional turn of damage threshold, 5 turns of attack down, and your crew is inflicted with 5 times increased damage taken, meaning that the defeat action, which normally does 100,000 damage, is actually increased to like 500,000 damage, so you need exceptionally good damage reduction, or you're going to have some type of effect that allows you to protect you from defeat. So the team example you're watching here in the video is going to be a pretty obscure one. Obviously, this is not the best team to build. This is just more of a quote-unquote accessible team that can get the job done. So we're using Superclass Katakuri, and the main reason for it is because he actually fulfills some of the conditions that are for the crewmates, and he also actually provides a really good set of skills. His Superclass allowing you to get a full board of slots. He is an orb booster and a base attack boost, but then you have, because you have 2 Katakuris, means if you already have an orb boost, you actually get an attack boost instead. So having both Katakuris is actually really strong. Alternatively, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to have enough damage on stage 2. If that is the case, then you could definitely go ahead and activate 1 Katakuri on stage 2. But as I said, we need some of these conditions fulfilled for some of our crewmates, namely Big Mom and Jinbei. Big Mom requires a powerhouse or driven captain, and Jinbei requires a fighter or a cerebral captain. Katakuri, fighter powerhouse, fulfills both of those conditions. Big Mom, for example, is good because her special will change block slots into matching and get rid of the damage reduction, so she's very good on stage 2, but also gives you a chain lock, so she actually gets around the gimmicks and gives you a bit of damage increase, which is fantastic. And then on the boss stage, obviously you get hit with damage, and there's damage threshold, and it actually ends up being 6 turns of damage threshold, which is very frustrating. So the Jinbei is really good for that. He will remove that completely, but the other really good thing about Jinbei is that he applies a damage threshold on your side of the field as well, allowing you to tank the damage from the opponent, and through calculations that I was doing, this actually should last even post level 31, which is pretty exceptional. There is also, we have Sasaki, and Sasaki allows us with his double special stuff to get around attack down, and he also provides color affinity, which is really strong. And then we've got Jack, free-to-play Jack from Treasure Map, really old school unit, but he's like one of the only free-to-play units that actually removes damage nullification on the enemy side of the field, and as well as being quick and powerhouse, actually fits pretty well with the squad. So as I said, it's not the best team in the world, but it has the core units that are able to get around the opposing gimmicks, as well as doing a decent amount of damage against the strength boss. The second fight is versus the Psi variation of Kid, and Battle 1 you'll get cooldown for your specials, switch, and versus if the character is a striker, shooter, or a driven character, and on Battle 2 there's 5 turns of damage threshold and 5 turns of defense up, which we'll talk about in just a moment. We have the boss stage, full immunity once again, so if you want to apply a status effect it has to bypass immunity. They actually cut your health by 55% as well, whilst also applying pain debuff for 5 turns, meaning any action that you perform, whether it be a switch effect or a special, will deal 15,000 damage to the crew. So you want to have either a really good healing special, or you have a lot of HP where this doesn't matter. But the other really annoying part about this boss is that there's special reverse for the top row by 1 turn, special reverse for your crewmates for 2 turns, and special bind for all of your crewmates also for 5 turns, which is why you see in the team example, we're going to be using Halloween Ace, because instead of using a bunch of specials to get rid of special bind and special reverse, if we have a captain ability that just resists those debuffs altogether, that's going to be awesome. Also because it's a side boss, and the fact that they allow you to get cooldown reduction for shooter characters, Halloween Ace just feels like a no-brainer against this fight. And then on the boss, when you get to level 31 and above, the special reverse is buffed, the special bind is buffed, and you're also getting fear resistance, or you're getting fear inflicted to the crew, which is just kind of annoying. But in terms of getting around all of the gimmicks here, we will have the Kuzan on this team. Now this Kuzan, he was available from the Sugo Medal Exchange, I think it was last month, if not, it was the month prior to that. He's really strong because he gets around the defense up and the damage threshold on the enemy side of the field, and he also gives color affinity boost. But the other character that you'd ideally use on stage 2 is going to be the Nami on this team. This Nami actually recently got a level limit break. I personally haven't maxed her out yet, but even the base form of her special, she says that if you hit 3 perfects during the turn you launch the special, you get a color affinity boost in the next turn. So ideally use her on stage 2, hit 3 perfects at least so you get color affinity in the final stage. It just means that it's one less special you have to launch on the boss stage, so you're just avoiding more of that pain damage that will be inflicted. And then on the final stage, of course, you have the Ace special. Ideally, you could use an Ace on stage 2 and an Ace on stage 3. You've also got Capone, which gives you a full board of slots and an orb boost. And then you've also got the color affinity that you got from Nami from stage 2, carrying it into the final boss stage. But also Perona. Legend Perona is fantastic here because your health is going to be very, very low. When you launch Perona special, when you have less than 80%, she actually gives you a guaranteed conditional boost against enemies inflicted with negative debuff, and I believe she does go through full immunity as well. So she's perfect, and I believe she also gives you a chain lock. Like, she's just ridiculous, and this whole int shooter team is going to be very strong against this fight. We are going to be using the White Tiger ship, which actually came out relatively recently, and it's just a shooter focused ship. It gives a bit of HP, but having a ship that gives you a lot of HP is going to be very, very beneficial in this particular quest. And then moving on to the third and final boss is the versus quick variation of Kid. Even though he is labeled the quick boss, he technically isn't just a quick boss. You can see that when you reach the boss stage, he can be a quick unit. The second part of his health bar is int. The final part of his health bar is a dex one. So you want to have a multi-typed team really, so that you can get around all of these different health bars. So characters that are driven, cerebral, and powerhouse receive cooldown here. There is a special reverse on stage 2, as well as 1 turn of, once again, nullify damage or damage nullification, and you get a full board of badly matching slots. So the way that we're dealing with that with this team is that we have Nami and Robin. This character here, the free-to-play Nami Robin from one of the older Kizunas, does resist special reverse. Her special gives you an orb boost, which is great. And then we also have Sanji, because his cooldown will be given from the Nami and the Robin special, and his special, he actually does have double special, which is nice, but he says that if you have a Luffy attached to him when you launch his special, then he removes 1 turn of damage nullification, as well as giving adjacent slots matching, as well as enabling you to get a 2.5 chain boundary. So he's really strong actually, and that support of Luffy, which is the first Gear 4 Luffy character to arrive in One Piece Treasure Cruise, has support that says that when you launch the character special, it makes strength, int, recovery, and tandem slots beneficial to the crew. So this will enable you to pretty much get a full board of matching slots no matter what. You'll have an orb boost from Nami, you'll have a chain boundary from Sanji, stage 2 shouldn't be an issue, and you can even use the super swap of one of your Rayleigh Gabans to get a really good chain boost as well. So there's just multiple ways to get through this. And then when you reach the final boss stage, you actually are allowed to apply defense down to the opponent, and that's actually really key. Which we'll talk about in just a moment. There is going to be 1 turn of special limit use, which is very, very annoying. I believe I made it so that one of my characters has the ability to remove that. No, okay, so that is actually something that needs to happen. So there's no damage limit or special use limit potential ability here, so I believe I will switch out the Jinbei on this team for someone else, because the way that this would actually work is you do need at least someone to have it. And the good thing about it though is that limit special use is only for 1 turn, so as long as someone has it, you don't even have to have the potential ability maxed, you just need the ability on your team. and then you can remove it. There's also 5 turns of attack down, and then 5 turns of special bind to your crewmates. And then after level 31, the attack down and special bind get buffed by 1 turn, and there's also 5 turns of defense up. So Rayleigh Gaban are a pretty good captain in this quest, because if you have them as the Dex version or as the Psi version, you'll have someone that's going to be type beneficial against one of your boss HP bars, which is really good. But also their captain ability resists attack down, and you have the ability with their swap to remove special bind, and then their special removes special bind for the whole crew. So they get around the really nasty debuffs on this stage, and because you're allowed to apply defense down, even though, yes, you could just remove the enemy's defense up, it's actually probably better to get a defense down conditional boost for this stage. And remember, Sanji does have double special launch, so we used him on stage 2. We can also use him on stage 3 to get another chain boundary effect. We'll have orb boost from Rayleigh Gaban, and then Cat Dog will get you an attack boost for Slasher, Cerebral, Powerhouse, and Striker, which is the whole team. And then they also give you color affinity, so they get attack color affinity, as we said, orb boost from Rayleigh Gaban, chain boundary from Sanji, and you just need some type of way to reduce the enemy's defense so that Jinbei can be removed for something else. Alternatively, you could just have someone just remove the defense up. It just depends on what you want to do, because the Cat Viper actually do give you a defense down conditional boost, which is pretty nice. They state that they do give you a defense down conditional boost if you already have an orb boost activated, which you will from Rayleigh Gaban, which is really, really nice. So there is a lot of leeway on this team. As I said, this is just more of a quote-unquote accessible kind of team that can get the job done. But realistically, this is going to be a pretty annoying fight, because you do need at least someone with special use limit resistance potential ability. Alternatively, you could have someone with that potential ability that deals with special reverse, and you can replace Nami and Robin with that character as well. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up from me for the 10-star difficulty Kizuna preparation. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.